Am I on your way?
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's kind of tight over here, huh?
No. There's some on the table? Okay, I'll get for him. On your way?
Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Roll call, Mr. Ceniceros. Mr. Taylor. Here. Mr. Sweeney. Here. And Dr. Willingham he had some family issues. He had to leave the state. Please stand for the pledge. Honor your heart, ready to begin. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Next item is public comment. This is a time and place for the general public to address the Board of Trustees. State law prohibits the board from acting on any issue not on the agenda because there are time limits imposed for public comment. Neither the board nor the superintendent answers questions or respond to statements made during public comment. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. The board shall limit time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Members of the board or superintendent may choose to take notes and respond briefly after public comment is closed. Individuals requesting to speak to the board must complete a request to speak form with name, address, and phone number. Items not on the agenda are addressed during public comment section, meaning a blue form. Individuals requesting to speak regarding an agendized item will be recognized when that item is addressed using a yellow form. Do I have any more? I have one blue form, any more? All right, then public comment, request to speak. Randall, regarding your scholarship fund.
Good evening, Superintendent, Dr. Moss, Board of Education, educators, community members, and the public. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Randall Ceniceros. I'm the director of the Ceniceros Music Scholarship Fund. I'm here to recognize an exceptional young student at Grace Oakley Middle School Band who excels in music and academics. A little bit about the fund. The Ceniceros Music Scholarship Fund was founded in 2015. It was my way to promote instrumental music by awarding young local graduating seniors with cash stipends to further their education. I'm very proud to say that this is the first time I've expanded this award to include an 8th grade student. And this evening, the recipient is Kayla Rodriguez. I'd like to invite her up to the podium. And if I may, I'd like to also invite your band director, Karen Greenwood, and speak a little bit about your performance on the honor band.
Was unplanned. I was delighted when Kayla said that she wanted to try out for the Southern California Concert Band and Orchestra Association sponsored a virtual honor band this year. And I said, awesome, let's do it, Kayla. So she did most of the work, and a lot of the hard work, and rehearsed a couple of pieces, and she had to know her scales. She had to know a bunch of requirements, and she put herself out there amongst the top of the state. And she was one of the first picked by the association to do a virtual performance concert. And I was extremely proud of her, as I know her parents are too. Kayla works really, really hard. She is our 8th grade Citizen of the Year at Grace Oakley as well. And that was voted by all the teachers. And I think the students would do the same thing if they had a chance to vote for something like that. She's an exceptional musician and a great, great kid. She comes in every Wednesday and helps me with the 6th graders online, and they love her. I'm worried about my job someday here, but she's awesome. So proud of her.
Well, let me continue. Over time, this dedicated musician will continue to develop her skills and knowledge of music It is my hope that Kayla's love for the art will flourish, and I look forward to hearing more about her many successes in the future. It's an honor to present Kayla with certificate, commemorative plaque, and a gift card to Sam Ash in the amount of $150. So thank you very much. Mr. Sweeney. Thank you.
Congratulations. Any other public comment? With that, we'll close public comment. Next item is public hearing on Assembly Bill 1200. Is there any public comment on this item? With that, we'll close public comment section. Next item is action item. I need a motion to approve the ratification of collective bargaining agreement between Mountain View School District and Associated Mountain View teachers for 21 through 24. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Jeremy?
Yes, you have before you the collective bargaining agreement between the district and AMVT. It is a 3-year agreement running through 2024. Some of the highlights through our negotiation process, we extended the amount of prep time elementary certificated teachers will receive on a daily basis to 35 minutes on average over a 4-week period, 35 minutes per day, excuse me, on average. It includes a one-time salary payment of $1,500 for full-time equivalent employees and a proration thereafter for partial full-time. And it also includes the codifying of our new teacher support language into the contract. Like I said, this is a 3-year agreement that will run through 2024.
Questions?
What was the previous amount of prep time?
You got speaking.
What was the previous amount of prep time?
We previously had 100 minutes per week on average. So about 20 minutes per day. So it's an increase almost to 50%. So up to about 35 minutes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? A motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next item is I need a motion to approve the salary agreement for 2021 between Mountain View School District and California School Employees Association as Chapter 876.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Jeremy?
Yes, this is the commensurate Me Too agreement with our classified unit. Also $1,500 for full-time equivalent and partial prorated commitment as far as a partial FTE goes as well.
Questions? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Next item, motion to approve the extension of salary increases to management, confidential, and speech language pathologists at the same rates as AMVT and CSEA represented employees for 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, this is the Me Too.
Yes, it's an extension to management, confidential employees, and speech language pathologists. All are unrepresented employees in the district.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Next item is a motion to approve a proposal to bargain with Mountain View School District from CSEA and its Chapter 876 for 20-21. Do a motion,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Jeremy?
Yes, while we have concluded negotiations with certificated, we still are ongoing with our classified staff, and this action item opens up an additional article for us to finish discussing through our negotiations.
And the articles are hours, salaries, employee benefits?
Yes, salaries and employee benefits were already open as we were discussing 19, 20, 19 and 20. This includes hours into that conversation as well.
Okay, questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. And next item is to approve proposal to bargain with CSEA and Chapter 876 from the Mountain View School District for 2021. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And this is our counter.
Yes, counter reversal, same thing.
Okay.
Hours and salaries and benefits open as well.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain. Okay. Next item is a motion to approve an award contract with Premier Paving Incorporated for services detailed in the bid notice totaling 90,000 plus change. Have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Jeremy?
Yes, on March 8, I brought before the board for an information item two potential summer projects. This is the representative bid award for one of those projects, which is a blacktop replacement at the playground area at Creekview. A portion of the playground that was in need of some replacement and restructuring. And so this is the awarded bid, lowest responsible bid at $93,300 to Premier Paving Incorporated, which is an Ontario firm. You also have before you additional bid information showing the other bids that were part of the competitive bidding process.
When L&M goes through their bidding process, how do they determine the number of contractors to go to? The question is, on the next time we have 4, this time we have 2. I'm just curious.
Yes, we advertise in the same process. We advertise through a newspaper classified ad. They also advertise out to all the contractors that they work with through their circles. Unfortunately, we can't control the number of respondents. And so we hope for as many as possible because it creates a competitive bidding process. Paving is a little bit more difficult because the margin is much narrower as far as competition, and there's only certain companies that will get involved in that process. So we had a better turnout for our roofing, not as great a turnout for our paving, but the bid came in lower than anticipated, so we were pleased with that.
Has Premier done any work for us in the past?
I can check on that. I don't believe so. We've done some basic blacktop resurfacing, but this is a major replacement. And so it's a little bit more in depth than just doing some resurfacing, but I can follow up on that and let you know if they have.
Would you please, and also if there are any nearby districts they've worked for?
Okay.
Questions? So when you say you post it, when you say you or we post it, is the district posting it or is L&M posting it?
The district is required through the bidding process to place a classified ad in the newspaper for a period of 2 weeks
Okay,
leading up to the bid. And we're required to do that every single time we have a public works job available for bid. That's part of the process. And so we advertise through that, through the newspapers directly. Nicole works with a contact at the local paper to establish those. And then through word of mouth to LMC, they put it out through their circles as far as to generate additional buzz.
do the bids go to us or to L&M?
They come to here. They come, they're sealed, they're opened in a sealed bid opening process. And so they have to be submitted by the date of the bid opening, it's time stamped, and we open them exactly at the time that we say we're going to. It's a formal process that we do at the district office, read off those bids. Contractors can be present if they so wish.
So is this repaving, slurring? What are we doing? We tearing
It's a
stuff up?
complete removal of a certain section, probably I don't know the exact dimensions, but likely 30 by 50-yard section of concrete that had some major cracks in it. And through part of the process of working with our architects, we determined that the foundation wasn't appropriate. The first time it was laid, it was in addition to the original playground that was probably done a couple of decades ago. And it appears that part of it has broken and is almost, in a sense, sliding away from itself. We've done a number of repair jobs over the past decade to it, but each time it cracks and reopens further. And so this process was done to completely remove it, lay a new base, put a curbing on the south side where we believe will help to prevent it from any kind of movement, and therefore kind of, we feel, putting a final remedy on this issue.
Okay, I'm not trying to belabor the point, but I am concerned always when we come in and I see a almost $40,000 difference for a small job. I mean, relatively small job. That's a significant change. And I'm also concerned with the current shortage of concrete and a few other things, and seeing how slow all the other pavement issues are going on in this area, specifically right over here, and forget about Archibald. But so I'm fine, I'll vote for it, but I'm constantly concerned when we have a big gap like this, that why is one supplier bidding $40,000 less than another supplier? That just raises red flags for me. So just my
Understood.
2 cents worth,
Understood.
okay? Question?
Yes, please. The other bid, where are they located?
I don't have the paper in front of me.
You mentioned that the Premier Paving is located in Ontario.
Oh,
and I-
Lee and,
and I appreciate that.
yes.
Was
Lee and
the other one
Stiers.
relatively close?
Yeah, I apologize. Lee and Stiers is also a very local company. It's actually the company that is doing our grading and paving at Parkview. They were the winning bid for Parkview. They are a much larger operation, and they did bid this project as well. We're not the lowest bidder for this small project, but we're our bidder for awarded bid at Parkview Elementary, and they're currently doing the grading there, and they will be doing the paving as well.
And Mr. Currier, the reslurring, the repaving, is that a remedy for tripping hazard?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we have probably 3 or 4 large cracks that have opened up a few inches over the course of the last year or two, and it just continues to widen, which is way the best remedy is to do a complete removal and replacement rather than a patching, which is what we've attempted to do in past years.
I too would have preferred there have been 4 estimates that have come in, but unfortunately, I'm satisfied with what you presented. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so again, not trying to belabor this, but well, yes, I am. I'm trying to belabor this. Lee and Stiers?
Stiers, yes,
Stiers, they're doing work for us already,
on a different project, yes,
but in the district.
yes.
Premier has not done work for us in the district. Is that a correct statement?
I'm unsure if they have done
Okay.
work in the past. They
Okay.
are not currently, no.
And the company who's a larger company has a proposal that's larger than the small company, where usually larger companies are able to give you a better deal
In some cases,
in
yes.
some cases.
Yeah, they may have larger overhead.
All right, well,
Through their
maybe
bid development, they,
maybe I'm not going to vote for it now. Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 1 no. And no abstentions. Thank you, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Next item is a motion to approve award contract to Chapman Coast Roof Company Incorporated for services detailed in the bid notice totaling $201,000 and change. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Jeremy?
Yes, again, similar to the blacktop replacement, I had brought 2 projects forward back in March. This is the second one for a portion of the roof replacement over at Grace Oakley. We had some major splitting in our existing roof and some severe leakage when we had rain. And so this will address that large portion of the roof plus some other sections that need some minor repairs. And so you have the multiple bids there in front of you that came in. Chapman Coast Roof, who is located out of Fullerton, I believe, was the winning bid at $201,187.
Questions? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Jeremy, you get, no, not quite.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's a
Motion,
duo on this one.
motion to approve behavioral health counselor supervisor job description. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Jeremy or Jan?
Yes, I'll start off and then I'll turn it over to Jan.
Okay.
This is a job description that was co-developed between Human Resources and Student Services to help to support ongoing behavioral health needs. This is a counselor supervisor. I will turn it over to Jan if you have further questions about what that position would go to support in our schools.
This position would allow for direct services, and as the program grows, would allow for, excuse me, supervision of interns that we place at sites.
Questions?
And this would be for the upcoming school year?
Yes, it would be.
How many current employees would we have under this supervisors?
Currently, there is nobody.
Oh, I'm sorry, employees under the supervisor to be named.
It's a position that will, as Jan said, provide direct counseling services to students. And then as we bring on interns from local universities, students who are working to earn their credentialing, they have to participate in internships, gain hours working with students. They would overall supervise those interns working. A lot of districts use this model of supporting interns to provide services as those counselors are learning their craft. And so it could be unknown. It could be a couple to 5 to 6. It just depends on the interest that we have of interns wanting to work in our district.
Okay, so we're creating a position to supervise no one at this point.
Correct, but they would be working in conjunction with our other behavioral health staff, our other behavioral staff employees. So for the behavioral counselor that we currently have and the behavior intervention specialist, but they would not be supervising them. Their sole purpose would be to supervise the interns as the program grows. But currently, they would also provide direct services.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Yes.
Can you share how we're funding this position? Is this through the LCFF funds?
Currently, I think we talked about part of it will be coming from the extended learning grant that we're applying for, as well as I think we have some funds that the SELPA sends us for our mental health services.
Now, I noticed that in the grant plan, it makes mention district behavioral health counselor, but there was no mention of the title supervisor. It goes on to say that the district behavioral health counselor will assist in developing a clinically sound, comprehensive counseling program to promote positive mental health and prevent learning behavior, emotional problems. Is that the same? Is this the same position that you're presenting us now?
Yes, it is.
But again, in the description for the grant, it makes no mention of the word supervisor. So I was a little bit confused. I thought maybe there was two positions.
No, sorry, we can add that to the title in the extended learning grant.
All right, thank you.
So you said salary is going to be based partly on the grant being approved,
Yes,
and if the grant's not approved?
we do have funding coming from 602, not 602, sorry, from our SELPA, that we do get funding for the mental health fees, and I can have Stephen explain that a little bit more.
The extended learning grant is essentially pre-approved. It was based on our return to school in part by April 1st, no later than May 15th. Because we were in person by April 1st, the grant has automatically been allocated, and the first half of that apportionment will come in May. The second half is going to come in August. And so these funds Part of these funds, the goal was to be used for additional mental health services, direct services for students. And so we felt this was a good way to identify and help with some of the social and emotional needs that may have and some of the behavioral needs that we would need to address as students come back for a year from being in the classrooms and from what they've experienced in this last year.
So Stephen, this would be funded as part of that 1.6 million?
Yes, it would be.
Thank you.
And what about the ongoing funds? Because that is only a one-time.
We have a couple funding sources that are have a couple years to expend. So the first year is going to be covered by the extended learning grant. As our ADA grows, our SELPA costs are also decreasing, which means, well, actually, the costs aren't decreasing, but because our ADA is growing, we're seeing each year additional income from our SELPA, and so some of those funds will also offset just from having higher special ed revenue. And in addition, we have funds that come in specifically for mental health that we use as well to cover some of these salary costs.
Did I see a salary range on this?
There is a 5-step salary range. It is the same rate as the psychologists. And I believe there may be an information item or maybe coming later, but it is on a 5-step scale on the classified side because it's not required to have a certificate to be in that position.
Any other questions?
President, yes. Can I ask, does this position need to be filled? Is there a deadline? Is there a timeline?
The funding expires September 30th, 2022, for the initial wave of this funding. And so technically we have the whole year to fund it. It's based on the plan. And so the plan will come back with adjustments. So for some reason, we weren't able to fill it until, say, September, it'd still be an eligible expense. We would just have to update the plan and say that funding came in a little, that we weren't able to fill the position as soon as we thought we were, and explain the difference in projected salary versus actual costs in the plan.
And I apologize for the question because I feel like I've arrived to the ballpark a little bit late, but because I thought I was looking at two different descriptions. All right, so that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'm all for this position. We make sure we make it happen, but it just seems there's some questions a lot of questions that have come up. And so I want to make sure we're thorough with this. That's where I'm at.
I tend to agree, Chris. I'm sure the need's there, but the presentation's been a bit vague.
Sir, is it possible we can table this?
I have to have a motion to table.
You can do one of two ways. You can either not have a motion, which if you don't.
Well, we already have a motion.
Since
on
you
the-
have the motion, you can vote to table and then have that come back. You can have it within the notes to bring that back in any subsequent meeting. It can be in June, it can be in July. That would be the easiest way for it to come back on a specific time.
Your feelings? Your feelings?
Well, I'm the one that initially brought it up. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. We're hiring somebody to supervise employees that we have yet to name. I think there are a lot of questions in my mind. And as of right now, I'm not in favor of this at all.
So I would need to entertain a motion to table.
I'll make that motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll table this till June.
Till June, we can do that at the Monday meeting in June.
Pardon me?
We can do that at the main Monday meeting in June.
Yes.
Perfect. That we'll go ahead and put that in the
Please.
notes.
Let's do it for the main meeting. No objections, main meeting. We'll have it at the main meeting
Okay.
in June. Because we have two meetings in June.
We have two meetings in June, correct. So that'll be the Monday meeting in June,
Okay, the Monday meeting.
14th, I believe.
which is correct. Okay,
Yes.
Monday, June 14th is when we'll
Okay.
come back. Thank you.
I would also ask a board member if they have particular concerns me, they communicate that to Dr. Moss to pass on to the team. Okay? I think you've heard many of them tonight, but if there's any additional ones, then we should take care of that. So hold on one second. And who made the motion to the table? Chris? And Mike. All right. Okay, next item is the motion to approve the master plan for English learners. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Karen?
Good evening. This is the master plan for English learners. Mr. Elder works with our district English learner advisory committee to update the plan annually. He is here if you have specific questions. The plan does get updated annually with our stakeholders. We update to make sure that it's compliant with laws that have changed, and a lot of times the state changes terminology. We also did the descriptions for designated and integrated supports as well as listed in the board item.
Questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Next item is a motion to approve the ABA 6 Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant Plan. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mike. Yeah, second,
I'll second that.
Karen?
Okay, good evening. This is the expanded learning grant that you heard a little bit about earlier. We have approximately just under 1.7 million to spend. We do have to focus on specific subgroups, our low-income English learners, foster youth, homeless, students with disabilities, a variety of groups. It's targeting students who have been hit hard during this pandemic. Within the plan, we've gone through and created our learning opportunities for students to accelerate students and move them forward as they come back next year, hopefully in a full-time setting. I'd be happy to go through the individual items if you'd like me to, or just answer questions.
Questions? Yes, Mike.
Did you write this proposal?
I did with support.
Extremely well-written and very self-explanatory, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, great job, Karen.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Next item is a motion to approve Board Resolution 20-2021, 2020-2021-09, transfer of appropriations for fiscal year July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Who made it? Okay. Who second? Mike? Okay, thanks. Stephen?
This is our annual requirement from the county. This resolution allows for us, for the district to make budget transfers throughout the year so that we can adjust our budgets as necessary to adjust to changing circumstances and changing needs of the district.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. Next item is a motion to approve the resolution 2020-2021-10, temporary intra-fund borrowing for fiscal year July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
Okay. Stephen?
This is also the annual requirement from the county. This resolution allows for the district to borrow cash from a different fund, depending on which fund needs cash. This actually came in handy this year because of deferrals, and we do it every year just in case the state does happen to run into issues where we need to borrow cash, which is a more cost-effective way than going out for a short-term loan. And so that's what this resolution would allow.
Questions?
If I may, is there one fund that's more stable than another?
It, right now, probably our most stable fund is Fund 14. And we'd committed a few years prior to me starting, the district had started to commit funds into Fund 14 to save for emergency projects such as the roofing and the paving projects. But because we haven't had those emergencies come up, we don't see the expenditures in there. And so that generally, that right now is our most stable fund from a cash perspective. It used to be pretty happy. There was Fund 25, but we have started building a school and now we're starting to, we'll be paying our contractors and funds will be going out there pretty quickly. So right now, Fund 14 is our most stable cash fund.
Is it more common to dip into the deferred maintenance fund more so than others?
It really just depends on where, honestly, it depends on where the district has cash. When you go out for, when the district goes out for a what's called a temporary revenue anticipation notice or a tax revenue anticipation notice, it basically is a borrowing against future revenues. But they do you have to do a cash flow of your entire district. And if you have essentially too much cash in other funds, they don't allow for you to borrow the cash. And so it just depends on the district and the operations. It really depends on the district on which fund is most stable and which fund is not.
Thank you.
Any other questions? A motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose, abstain. Okay, thank you. Motion to approve the agreement with Driftwood Dairy Products to piggyback on the Beaumont Unified School District RFP for dairy products for the 21-22 school year. Motion,
I'll make the motion.
second.
Second.
Stephen,
This is a piggyback for us as district to get better pricing on our dairy products. Because we are a smaller district, we do not get as some of the good pricing from the larger districts. And so this is just a piggyback to get us a better pricing than we would normally get on our own.
was this the district we did last year?
Yes, I believe this was a 3-year bid. Looking at their RFP number, it was the exact same RFP as last year. So I think it was a 3-year contract. And so we should see this again next year as well.
Okay. Questions? Motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose, abstain. And then a motion to approve participation in the super co-op agreement for 21-22 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Stephen,
This motion allows for us to operate in a super co-op that allows us access to USDA pricing. And so what happens is when we go to order food, you'll see an item, it'll basically be a little message saying USDA approved apples. And they're offered to the districts at a significantly lower rate than our normal vendors. But you have to be part of the co-op to have access to those lower priced items. And it is completely random on what's going to be offered from week to week, day to day on USDA items. But if we are part of the co-op and there are items that we need, we do have access to them at those highly reduced rates.
questions?
In this agreement, do they make adjustments for seasonal produce?
To be honest, I'm not sure. In this agreement, we're just joining in part of the co-op. The USDA kind of depends from what has been in the past. Sometimes it's just what's on hand. If there's an extra supply of sometimes even canned goods that they know that they will then send out to the districts. It really varies on what shows up and when shows up. It's a matter of kind of just going in and seeing what is available. And if you need it, placing the order for it. If not, you kind of wait to the next time you order food to see if there's any items in there that meet your needs at the district level.
I just want to ensure that we're getting quality foods, that they're not supplementing, for example, a kiwi for sliced peaches, for example, or blueberries for sliced apples.
No,
So we
it'll
don't see
be
it just consistent, you know.
It varies, and it's not a replacement of one food or the other. It just happens to be that this allowable food is, because they're all foods that are allowable, but it just means that the kiwis, which you could normally get, I'm just gonna say at $1, you can now get them at 75 cents. And so it varies, like I said, throughout the year on which items are approved, but it's not a matter of supplementing one in, one out.
Any further questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Thank you, Stephen.
Welcome.
Oh, you're still here, aren't you?
I am.
Okay, good. I need a motion to approve the LCAP federal addendum update.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Is that Randall? Okay. Stephen?
Okay, so this is, I'm not normally up for this, so this is kind of exciting, but this is the LCAP federal addendum update. We had gotten notification from the CDE that they were going to reopen the window to apply for Title I funds, which would then open up, if approved, also some ESSER $2, which would be good for the district, obviously from a revenue standpoint. Some of the requirements were to have a board-approved federal addendum, but it needed to be updated because the original addendum did not include Title I. And so over the last couple of weeks, Mr. Elder worked tirelessly in updating the sections that were previously not applicable to include Title I, so that we could then submit this plan for the 2021 school year, so that the CDE ideally will approve us as a Title I district, which would then also open up the approval of the ESSER $2 to be awarded to the district for the 2021 school year.
Questions? All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Skip. Karen, everyone else who's associated with LCAP? Jeremy? Yeah. All right. Enrollment report, Dr. Moss.
Our enrollment report currently, Creekview is at 605, Mountain View at 552, Ranch View at 831, Grace Oakley at 626 for a total of 2614. Attendance in our stable cohort versus our distance cohort has been stable, meaning between groups. So the groups have been stable. We're not seeing movement between one of the other, largely due to that stable cohort component. Distance education, again, it's also its own cohort. We have seen a slight dip in attendance in both modes over the past week. We were anticipating that. We have had numerous families indicating that they are going on vacations. And some of those are for an extended weekend. Even though we are getting out of school in 2 weeks, some of them had planned vacations that they had plugged in. So those are, our principals have done a fantastic job in working with those families. Some are going to be going on an independent learning plan, others are not. However, it is working within our stable cohorts, and some will be returning to a distance mode upon their return due to quarantining.
Questions? Thank you, Dr. Moss. Staff and student attendance.
For April, we are at 90% or above, not including long-term absences, which also year-to-date is at 92% or above, not including long-term absences. Again, these rates are higher than we would normally anticipate for coming into April of any given school year. We are happy to see these numbers. And again, if we look at overall attendance over the course of the year, especially during a pandemic, we're not having any specific months. If you track everything over the course of the past year, no specific months are sticking out as having been particularly hard hit, which was a grave concern that we all had at the beginning of the pandemic.
Questions? Okay, thank you. Financial statement, Stephen.
These are the monthly financial statements for the month ending April 30th. There's really nothing too significant to note. We're not too far off of second interim, so there aren't many adjustments.
Questions?
Yes, we've been hearing a lot about May revise, and we've been hearing also, as a matter of fact, today the governor was talking about rebates. What fiscal impact has changed that we see promising for a budget?
Honestly, a lot of it is just a matter of conservative in the January budget, not quite knowing where tax revenues were going to come in. The tax rolls that were starting to come in March and April. And even now, we'll really know May in 7 days here after they close. Tax revenues have come in a lot higher than anticipated that we're seeing as people file their taxes. And just in that the stock market is obviously still, even with the unemployment level, the stock market is still going, and in California, a lot of our revenues are based off of capital gains. And so as the stock market goes, oftentimes so goes our economy.
I have to interpret that as positive news.
Yes, nothing official has come out, but the numbers would indicate that it does look like it's going to be, the May revised hopefully will be better. It really is a matter of how the governor is going to decide to allocate those funds. There's a minimum requirement under Prop 98 to allocate to school districts, and it may be a matter of if the state and the legislature decide if they would like to do more than is the minimum requirement.
I do have some information to add with that from the superintendent's report today, from our state superintendent's group, as far as the governor, with increased revenues coming in from the state, which are expected, especially from capital gains. However, there's also, because of the drought in the north and also the high fire danger, there's an expectation the governor will allocate a significantly larger amounts of funds, specifically for fire prevention and fire protective equipment, staff, et cetera. And the impact is not expected to hit the schools. However, because of additional surpluses and also the information released today on specific tax rebates for middle income earners in the state of California, we are anticipating a slightly different picture than what we were anticipating in January, largely because those surpluses were not present when the first bit of information was given to us.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
LCAP update.
You know, I'm up here, so I'm just gonna give Karen the day off today.
About time.
I will say that Ms. Sullivan is working hard on putting the final touches on our LCAP. We will take the final LCAP to our to our groups at the end of May. That then will come to the board on the June 10th board meeting for presentation to the board. And that at that point also gives a window for the public to add any comments, which we would need to address. And then on the 14th, we would approve the final LCAP along with the budget.
Questions? Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Karen, write that down for you to say. Next item is Mountain View School District school information. Oh, gee, they're all coming up. Well, let's start with Grace Oakley since they are running up there.
It's nice to go first. Good evening, everyone. It's so hard to believe that we're already here at the end and close of another school year. So I believe I can speak for many of us when I say that we're all a little bit stronger and wiser and more ready than ever to have a full return to campus next year and get back to what we love doing for our students and community. This month, Grace Oakley recognized 2 outstanding students who demonstrated academic perseverance, grit, and just an overall positive attitude to be recognized as our Citizen of the Year recipients. These deserving students were honored at our school site. We had a walk down our main hallway. We had photos, we had certificates, balloons, and of course, cheers from their peers and our staff. At this time, we are pleased to recognize our 7th grade Citizen of the Year, Mr. Anthony Gomez, and our 8th grade Citizen of the Year, Kayla Rodriguez, who was also honored earlier this evening by board member Ceniceros. So congratulations to them. A lot of information has gone out to both parents and students in regards to our textbook and our Chromebook return. Our dates and times have been shared via phone blast, parent portal, our student view, our website, homeroom teachers. I think students and parents should have a good idea of the dates and times in which these things are to be returned before heading off into summer. We've also been working in close partnership with Colony High School to ensure that our students are aware of their summer bridge program. And also they are registered and have opportunities to participate in extracurricular activities such as clubs or sports if they require an interview or a tryout of some sort. So we continue to work with Colony. And finally, we are looking forward to our celebratory promotion event, which is set to take place on Friday, May 21st. This is broken down by times, by student last name. So we have a full staging area that we've created for our families and friends to take photos of their students as they're recognized when they walk down the red carpet. 8th grade students' names will be announced. We'll have some music. Our teachers and our staff are excited for the event, and we are really looking forward to sending off our Panthers as future Titans.
Questions?
I'd like to say thank you very much. Grace Jokley Middle School has a special place in my heart. For my youngest son, Aiden, he's looking forward to promotion, participating. Tonight, I represent the Panthers in my attire. So I also want to say thank you for sending out those personal invites and reminding us to participate in the promotion ceremony. I look forward to being part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your comments? Nope. Mountain View.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. The month of May, of course, finds us racing to the finish line. We began the month with our Staff Appreciation Week, which was loaded with a host of appreciation treats, gifts from parents, students, PTO, staff to staff, district, myself, and our very own Assembly Member Frederick Rodriguez, who gave each one of our educators a certificate of recognition for their tireless efforts with rising to the occasion to educate our students during this pandemic. Every day that week was loaded with gifts of appreciation, and as we continue through May, we will continue the efforts in that regard. Today, our teachers use the strength of teamwork and collaboration in a cross-grade level collaboration series of meetings to discuss ways to support our students' academic and social and emotional needs for the upcoming school year. A great start of our efforts to begin the 2021-2022 school year with a proactive approach to supporting our students. Tomorrow, Tuesday, May the 11th, our Citizen of the Year Home Parade Tour will take place. Our tour will begin at 3 p.m. in front of our school, and we will travel as a caravan to each one of the 7 students being recognized for their outstanding citizenship for this school year. Each student is representing their entire grade level as a student who exemplified a great example of citizenship during the entire school year. A special shout out to each Citizen of the Year student and their parents who sent them to school ready to learn. Teamwork in action. Thank you, parents. It's definitely easier when we work together. Along with honoring our Citizen of the Year students and their great accomplishments, we are once again recognizing the outstanding efforts of our students across grade levels who are being awarded with our Academic Eagle of the Month and our Citizen of the Month awards. A special shout out to them as well. I would like to say to all of our students, every effort towards greatness counts, and we are counting. Thank you to your efforts, students. May 13th, Thursday of this week, we are continuing with our efforts to maintain a safe environment as we will practice our school-wide safety emergency protocol with a lockdown drill. The entire campus will be engaged in practicing this drill at 8:55 a.m. in the morning. To round out the school year, we will acknowledge the matriculation of our 6th grade students as they ready themselves for 7th grade. Thursday, May the 20th at 3 p.m., we will say a fond goodbye to our 6th grade students with a drive-by celebration to take place in front of our school. And please note, this event is invitation only, and we do thank you in advance for your cooperation in adhering to this invite celebration. We also, last but not least, say a fond goodbye to all of our students on our last day of school, Friday, May the 21st. It has been a trek. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone, parents, teachers, support staff, PTO, district, the board, and the community at large for all your efforts helping us navigate this most unprecedented year. It is definitely a year that will be etched in our world's history journal, for sure. And until the next school year, I'm wishing all a great summer. Thank you very much for your time.
Any questions? Thank you. Creekview.
Well, that's going to be hard to follow. Great job, Adrena. We also had a lockdown mini Viper drill, tried to keep it a little low key, let the kids know in advance that it was going to happen and what time it was going to happen, just in case we had some nervous kids. It went very well. Immediately, everything was shut down. It takes me longer to check the doors and get back to the office and give the all clear than it does for them to shut down, but they did a fabulous job. During the week of May 3rd through the 7th, we did have our staff appreciation. They were very appreciative of especially the wonderful snacks that you provided as well. And we did have a special luncheon where we had the food set out, but I also set out all the certificates that were sent over, and they sat in their class groups and looked at their certificates, and they were just floored. They were so appreciative of getting to see that. That was very special. Today we had a double baby shower. So mark my words, 5 years from now, you better be prepared for one big incoming kindergarten class, because my son and my daughter-in-law, every one of their friends are either planning to be pregnant or are pregnant, not the men, just the ladies. So we're going to have a lot of kids that year. Tomorrow, we will be doing the Citizen of the Year awards. We're awarding the certificates to our kids from last year, since we did not have that. That was canceled due to the pandemic. So we're doing double duty. Randall and Chris will be coming. Mr. Ceniceros and Mr. Taylor will be coming to help pass out those awards. So again, it's limited to just immediate family, but we're going to go send it out via a Zoom meeting so people can log in and watch somebody get their award if they would like. May 13th, we'll be having an earthquake drill. May 17th, we will be saying a fond farewell to Suzanne McDonough, Cindy Bluthman, and Brittany Torn. Suzanne is retiring. Cindy will be coming to work at the district office, and Brittany is moving out of the area. So we will have a farewell party for them. That will be at 11:30. On May 17th at 12:30, we will have our 6th grade Blue Jay drive-by parade. Usually at the end of the school year, we would always do a clap out where all the classes would get together and make sort of a line, and the 6th graders would walk through it while they saluted them and clapped for them. So this will be similar to that. And on May 21st, we will say farewell to our students and teachers and wish them a wonderful, relaxing summer so they can come back ready to hit the ground running. And the number one question that we get these days are, what's going to happen when we come back? So I told them, stay tuned. As soon as I have solid information on what the school year is going to look like, we'll let you know. They're excited. It's been wonderful having them back on campus.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Benchview.
Good evening. Since I'm tall, I'll make this short and sweet. So the Ranch View Wranglers, again, like we have been saying all year, it's been an unprecedented year, and we're almost at that finish line. And I know I've been reading different school sites saying, you know, if you've ever run a marathon, I have. And when you get towards the end, you really start to lose it a little bit. And then you take a little bit of an energy drink, or you might get some water or an orange, and you just focus and you move forward. So we're at that point, but I think that it's near, and we've had a great year. This was my first year at Ranch View, And it's been a really good year. And so today we had a really nice turnout for our Citizen of the Year. We had a drive-through, but the parents could get out, and we had a really nice lawn sign that said, congratulations, citizens. And parents got a photo op, and we had balloons, and it was just really organic, but really nice. We had a lot of compliments from parents and from the students. So that was a really good day. And then the staff was in front cheering as the students came up, and we had lawn signs made for each family to take home to either put in their lawn or in their window. So they really appreciate that. We have our last rodeo for our 6th grade students. That'll be next Monday, May 17th at 12:30 p.m. Similar, driving through 1 car per family, and it's Western wear. And I wish if anybody knows if anybody has horses, they'd like to come on their horses, because we're going to have a really good time. And then I'd like to thank Miguel and the food service department. They are our heroes. And I'll never forget the time I spent last year creating fun videos to keep the community, to keep them happy during the, scary time. But the whole food service department, they're always looking out for what's best for our kids, keeping our community fed. And he served lunch today, a pasta meal lunch for our entire staff. And they were very, very grateful for that. So that was really, really nice. And again, I think it's just that we've all come together as a community and kind of rethinking things and what's important and being more patient. But I think the best thing so far is that most of us have been very safe through this and healthy. So that's it from Ranch View.
Any questions? Thank you. Next is Board Superintendent Staff Communications. Mike?
Not a lot this month. First and foremost, I'd like to wish a belated Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in attendance here and those who are viewing at home. Mothers are kind of the backbone of our community, in my opinion, and thanks to all of you for what you do. I have visited the Parkview construction site on a few occasions, and it's really good to see things happening, dirt being moved, and it's not going to be long before we're going to start seeing concrete go down, and pretty exciting to see. I did visit Grace Oakley Junior High Friday, and it was really a good feeling to be there. See teachers who were optimistic, tired, extremely tired, but very, very optimistic towards next year. I've made the analogy out of respect to Mr. Newton that we were on the 5-yard line going in for a touchdown, and I think we're down on the 1 now. And looking forward to next year, I think it's going to be a new season, and we're going to get off on a good foot and start anew. And I think all of our lives are going to get a lot better. I'd like to give a special thanks out to all of the teams that participated in negotiations with our labor unions. This is the most quiet and amicable that I remember in my 25 years as a board member. I know they're difficult times, and I know that you all must have swallowed some pride at some time. And I mean, just kudos to you guys. It looks like we're going to have agreements on all levels. So thank you very much.
Chris?
I just want to take a moment, just echoing some of the things that Mike said, coming down to this last part, it's almost like everybody's ready to just exhale. And it's a great feeling, I know, in our home to know that it's coming to an end with the administrators and the teachers that I've talked to, friends, families throughout the district. You just feel that sense of, man, it's almost here. Not that we don't want to be around each other anymore, but this year, let's put it behind, let's move forward. I was able to go to Ranch View today for their Citizen of the Year. And I have to tell you, it was really neat. As these students came up one by one with their family, all the teachers are outside, and these kids see teachers. Some of them didn't even know what was happening. Their parents just took them to school. And these teachers are all clapping and cheering, and they're so overwhelmed, and they have their principal just share with why they're getting the award. It was just an incredible experience. So Julie, thank you so much for letting me know about that. It was just great. It was super great. Thank you.
Randall?
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you to those who were instrumental in bringing Parkview to life. I know it's been a long, arduous task. And to go out there a couple of weeks ago at that construction tour, it was just, I don't know how to say it. It was liberating in a sense that to know that we're finally going to be able to have a new school that's going to accommodate the overcrowding that we're experiencing today. It provides opportunity for new educators, new administrator, for classified employees. So look at it as an opportunity, but also look at it as accomplishment from the Board of Education and what they've done to get here. And so with that, I have to say thank you to Dr. Moss, Executive Cabinet, and everybody who's been instrumental in bringing that construction site forward. It's making great progress. So congratulations, Mr. Currier, on your efforts there as well for managing all that. For me, serving on the board, it's all worthwhile when you see the kids, when you see them go through promotion, when you see them receive the accolades, the awards, perfect attendance, student of the year. For me, that's what it's all about. Knowing that their success is your success. And so much has been done under the circumstance that you had to endure last year. And it just shows that everybody has made a concerted effort. You've come together at probably the most strenuous times, and you've accomplished so much. Thank you to those who have sent me the emails and reminders to all the many activities. I know there's a lot of staff personnel that helps put these together as well. They're great reminders to know what's on the calendar and what's next to anticipate for the balance of the calendar year. For me, I'm most proud of my son. I can tell you I've witnessed firsthand what he gone through with distant learning. So to know that a lot of the kids went through isolation, many of them experienced depression. Many of them have gone without their close friends or that daily communication. So I'm very proud of all their achievements and everything they accomplished. And for Grace Oakley Panthers, success well done. I want to read a poem to close. It took a lot of work, time, and persistence too, to achieve the important goal that you set out to do. The effort now pays off. The world now offers more. To you, young Panther, it opens a special door. Congratulations, class of 2021. You did it all. You made it through. You took your first step towards success, and we're so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to thank for the tour of Grace Oakley the other day. It was very informative. It's good to see the few students in the classroom enjoying themselves and the kids online. So that was great. Just a follow up on the babies. My daughter-in-law is a neonatal nurse, and they're having a boom of new babies. So people weren't just streaming TV shows. So that looks good for our attendance in a few years. Dr. Moss?
It's been a long, hard year, and it has been certainly echoed that everyone is tired. But what's amazing is people might be tired, but they're still demonstrating greatness. And I was just going to give just a few examples of those. I was invited over to Mrs. Carter's class over at Mountain View. And they were integrating science and social studies, specifically as it relates to Greek and Chinese engineering. So the students were then required to do different models of different elements from either ancient Greek or ancient Chinese history. The models were absolutely fantastic. It showed ingenuity, it showed engineering, it showed a fantastic level of understanding of ancient science and techniques, how this fit in within social studies. And the students did a beautiful job of explaining each of these components, not just how they created these components, but also why these were important, why it was historically important, how does it fit into today? This is the end of an incredibly difficult year. So to be able to ask a sixth grade student these questions and be able to have a coherent answer would have been fantastic. But this was far more than just a coherent answer. This was in depth. And it was an incredibly fantastic job. Well done. I was elated. As I was leaving, I was then invited by Mr. Kwan to go up on top of the roof at Mountain View. I'm always excited to have an opportunity to climb on anything. That's just one of those things I enjoy. So we went up to do the balloon experiment. And what was exciting about that was watching again how students integrated in science, how they were able to integrate in what they were doing, why they were doing. Oral communication, collaboration, they were so incredibly helpful to each other. And amazingly, only one egg broke, which is probably the best track record I've ever seen in all the years. So again, that takes a lot of work to take an egg and create a system to protect that egg during a drop from a roof, and for only one to go splat. And the one that went splat was the one I thought was going to be the most successful. So there you go. You never know. But again, it comes back to the science and the interest in tying things together. It was in Mrs. Dworak's room. Students were working on coding and also working on our 3D printer. Super excited about being able to do that because they've been working on these projects, and being able to be in person and seeing the fruition of those projects is fantastic. We're excited about continuing that in the future. And then I received information from Dina McElroy over at Creekview talking about the personal timelines and family timelines that the students have been working on. And these have been during their independent Mondays. So here they are working on Mondays, and the level of work and detail and creativity that Dina's class put into these is absolutely fantastic, and is just a great example of what our students have been doing during their asynchronous time on Mondays. This is the end of a marathon, the craziest marathon that we have ever been through. Yet this is what I'm seeing in the final weeks of the school year, and I couldn't be more proud as superintendent. We do have a vaccine event. This is a coordinated effort between Chafee Joint, San Bernardino County Department of Health, and San Bernardino County Department of Education. So we'll be having an opportunity in South Ontario for anybody over the age of 16 years of age, free of charge. There's no insurance component. This Wednesday from 4 until 8 p.m. to be able to go to Colony High School and receive a Pfizer vaccine. I know that as of today, Pfizer has been approved for 12 and over. However, this event is for 16 and over. There will be a future event scheduled for those who want to receive vaccines for those who are 12 and over. Again, it is Pfizer vaccine. It will be at Colony. If you're watching this and you're going, yeah, I can't do that day, there will be other days. It's posted on Chafee's website because each of the high schools in Chafee Joint will be hosting an event. Again, this is part of what we do as we work together with our partners in Chafee Joint as well as our county partners. So I'd like to thank them for organizing that. And finally, but certainly not least, Ontario Police Department is another one of our community partners that we work closely with. We did have an incident with a bicyclist in a car. The student is okay. However, it highlighted a very big, two large issues. One is safety en route to school from home, both for pedestrians as well as for cyclists. But also it highlighted an increasing concern that there is within Creekside, which is for speeding. So we will be working collaboratively through the summer and also next year with Ontario Police Department, with the Creekside Homeowners Association's Mountain View School District to work specifically on how we can address the speeding through the loops. It is not just in the Creekside community, it is throughout our district boundaries. So we'd like to expand that throughout the district with the assistance and cooperation of Ontario Police Department. So once again, thanking our various community partners. They're very important to us. And it is part of this larger community that makes everything work in Mountain View School District. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Stephen? Jan? Karen? Jeremy?
I'd like to echo some of Mike's words on negotiations this year. It was a privilege to act as the district's lead negotiator, although for this year, it was more like a lead collaborator. The way the teams worked together through our process in our certificated negotiations, we dealt with some big issues. And it was extremely collaborative process, all members buying in. We got extra support. I want to thank Karen Sullivan for helping us through that process with a lot of the intensive scheduling. And it just, the process was very smooth and collegial. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to our certificated unit for their involvement in that process. Also to our classified group who we've had a great sessions with them. Your actions tonight will help us finalize those negotiations this year. And these were 2 years worth of negotiations that were condensed into a couple of months because of the pandemic. And both units did a fantastic job. And I was honored to work with them. And I just wanted to recognize them tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Skip. Okay. Next item is consent agenda. Unless a trustee, the superintendent, or the public has a question concerning a particular item and asks that it be withdrawn from the consent agenda, items that are considered routine in nature are approved at one time by the governing board. Is there any item that anybody wishes to have withdrawn for consideration? Yes, sir.
A little concern, please, about item E, as far as director academic support programs, job descriptions.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pull that off and then we'll discuss it. Okay. So do we go to item E first? I know, but do I have a motion to pull item E off?
I'll make that motion.
Mike, second. Chris? Did you second it? No, Randall second. All right, so do we discuss that item first?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, all right. Now you can go. I don't care. I know it's a pretty long journey.
Absolutely. My name is Randy Garrett. I'm a teacher at Grace Oakland Middle School and also president of the Associate Mountain View Teachers. I do have some concerns with the position there. Two of the concerns would be, one is it seems like under the job description that a lot of the job description on there is for other people as what they've been doing as far as their job. So it seems kind of repetitive to actually add another person to the district office. Number two is that I was a little worried and concerned about actually funding and where this would actually come from. As we expand the district office, I do worry about the classroom and what needs to be in the classroom. I do know that the school board, the Mountain View School District, is very concerned about students. I'm also very concerned about students. I know that's something that we went into negotiations with to make sure, one is that students were taken care of as far as the last few years of being at a lower ratio as far as grade span adjustment. But I do have concerns as we expand with the classroom that we need to start looking at putting more money into the classrooms to make sure we get smaller class sizes rather than expanding the district office. I'm not sure if there's a need at that point. And so I just like some clarification on funding, if it's coming out of general fund or where it's coming from. And number two is about the description itself, because it seems like it is repetitive among other descriptions.
Okay. Dr. Moss, you want to handle this or you want Jeremy?
So Jeremy will do it from an HR perspective. I can answer any additional questions after.
This is actually a revised job description. It's a revision of our current position, which is a coordinator of academic support programs. What this is an elevation of that position from coordinator to director, with an additional inclusion of a management of all federal programs, including the Title I program that the district is seeking to become a part of, which we do have conditional approval of. This is not a new position to the district. It will be, like I said, a revised position. We currently have someone in that position who will be taking on the role of district Title I coordinator, which will substantially increase their responsibilities. So we felt it appropriate to revise that position to a director level position. It is a small fiscal impact, approximately about $9,000 a year. Is that correct, Stephen? And this position then will be able to be partially funded with Title I dollars now, which in the past it has not been able to be. So it's actually a relief to the general fund in some respect, and that we'll be utilizing Title I dollars to support this position.
Does that address your concerns? Any other questions? All right, so I have do we put this back on or do we put this back on the consent agenda? Okay. So do I have a motion for the consent agenda, including item E?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained. Next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held at 3 PM on Thursday, June 10th. Is that right? We just did. No. We're done. Okay. We approved, we had a motion, you made the motion for approval of the consent agenda. Okay, so the next regular board meeting will be held at 3 PM on Thursday, June 10th in the Mountain View School District Boardroom. We have closed session in the staff lounge.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you all for attending and have a good evening. Drive safe.